You died, my friend.
Oh, love that song.
Randos, what's up? Welcome to the Fandom at Random podcast.
In the new digs, if you couldn't see.
Hey, we got a little bit of a new studio setup going on. It's a work in progress. I think we still have a bit more to do, but...
A little bit, but I mean...
It's coming along.
It's fucking fire, dude.
Speaking of fire, today we are doing I don't even call it a random review, more of a random reaction, kind of a quick...
Or a fandom first impression.
Yes, I like that. I like that. This is why we pay this man on this podcast.
Yeah.
So I am Ed, that is Brian. Today we are talking Elden Ring.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, man. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know I am a big From Software fan. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. Inject that shit right into my veins.
And I dabble. I don't go veins, but no.
I was proud of you when you got out of Undead Asylum.
Yes.
In Dark Souls. It took a while.
Yeah, it took a while, but my temperament compared to his is, let's just say he's here and I'm about here. So my TV and controllers can't take Souls games sometimes, but I'm excited to talk about this one.
Yeah. So we're going to get right into it. This game... I don't even think it's an argument. It was already one of the most hyped games to come out in 2022.
Yeah.
And it was on the heels of another super hyped game, The New Horizon.
Forbidden West.
Which came out, again, to critical acclaim, a lot of great reviews. I know a lot of people have been enjoying it.
Yeah.
So far, it's been buried by the Elden Ring hype. Everything has been buried.
It has, yeah.
This game has come out and taken the gaming world by storm. It is just eating up all of the charts. It launched simultaneously on PC, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PS5. It is dominating sales.
It is.
On every system. Congratulations, From Software.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. Yes.
Yes. They did what they managed to do. They even got filthy casuals interested in this game, which I think when they hopped into it and realized what it was, they hopped right back out, but they bought it. That's all they need.
Yeah, and, we'll get right into the game launch itself. So many games lately. Battlefield 2042.
Yeah. Cyberpunk.
They have launched all these games that have been hyped, and we keep saying on this podcast, do not pre-order games. You don't need to do that anymore.
Don't
do it. This is the first game I've pre-ordered in God knows how long, and that is fully off of the respect I have for From Software. Miyazaki is a genius. I mean, everything the guy does and puts together, it's just gold. And they they were so confident they ran that network test months ago,
right?
Which was it came already critical acclaim on that. We knew what we were getting, and congratulations, the game launched fantastically.
I will say that I did not pre-order it, but that's because I don't ever buy a Souls game on launch, except for Bloodborne. I did buy that one. The week of launch, not the day of launch. This one I bought the night before. So yeah, I guess you could technically say I pre-ordered it.
There you go.
Based off the fucking hype. It's just, when you look at a picture with every review, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, it's kind of hard to be like, all right, I'm not going to buy that game.
Yeah, let's talk about the review scores right now. So right now, it's sitting at a 97 on Metacritic.
Yes.
Based off of the PS5 ranking. And this game, across the board, everywhere you look, it's a 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. However you want to rank it, that's how it's getting ranked.
Yes.
So let's get into our opinions of the game.
Let's do it.
So firing this up, what class did you go with, Brian?
All right, so I started with the Bandit.
Okay.
But that's not who I stuck with. I restarted with the Astrologer. I want to go full magic.
Really?
I always want to go magic in any RPG game. Never do. I committed myself this time. I'm like, I'm going full fucking mage build this time.
So I love that because in past Souls games, going like full mage or full magic build is not easy to do.
That's what I've heard. But surprisingly, between my Bandit build and my astrologer build, admittedly, I've only put so many hours in each, but the difference is night and day between how good I'm doing. With the astrologer, I am doing so much better than the bandit, and it's because of the range I get with the magic and the staff. So whether that's a beginning game advantage or if it's going to carry through the game, I don't know. But right now, I'm completely feeling the play style of a mage.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I went Vagabond.
I figured you would. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of going for at heart, I never really use magic in Souls games. But in this game, the magic has been buffed like significantly.
I can tell.
And I like that, like, there's some variety to it. There's some spice with it.
There is.
You know, whether you want to go like there's like the faith direction, the spirit direction.
Well, yeah, because you have either the sorcery, which is like magic. So I don't understand it completely, but which is like magic from the staff and like combat.
like energy based, and then faith builds are almost more elemental in this.
Yeah, they call it incantations,
yes.
I think. So those are the two different type of magics, and you kind of want to decide between one or the other.
Yeah.
And right now I'm leaning towards sorcery with the staff because I do like ranged in this game.
Yeah,
so.
Brian likes working the staff. So.
Yeah, the staff is right up my alley.
But I mean, me going with that build, I wanted to make a quality build, as it's known in the Souls community, where you focus on kind of equally leveling dexterity and strength. So far, it's been going really well because I found my baby.
Yeah.
I found my baby, the Claymore.
Oh, boy.
The Claymore, it has been a mainstay in Souls games for a long time.
It has.
Love me some Claymore. I'm already been leveling that shit up. Oh, such a good moveset.
I know you've gotten farther in the game than I have because, first of all, I restarted. Second of all, I can't get out of the first area because there's so much exploring to do. We have an open world in a Souls game for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
let's talk about the open world. So going into this game, a lot of the other Souls games have been, I don't want to say on rails, but it's much more, it's much more, here's an area, you have to go through this area, conquer it, then you move on to a different area. This is just...
And each area, so again, expert over here, beginner over here, but from what I can tell, from what I've played from Souls games, is every area, most paths lead to somewhere familiar. So when you think you're lost, you end up somewhere where you know, and you're like, oh, okay, this cuts to there, this cuts to there. In the open world, that's not the case.
Yeah, and I mean, the original Dark Souls was king at that, where you'd enter a new area and you'd find a weird shortcut and you go, oh shit, like, okay, now I'm here. And it all interconnects. This game, not so much.
No.
And this game is kind of it is just the hybrid, the love child of, you know, they took all of these Souls games, so Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, they took all of those games, fucked Breath of the Wild, and then Skyrim came in and was like, yo, let me in on this.
We got dragons,
they all kind of just,
bitch.
They all kind of went at it, and then out popped the Elden Ring.
I never understood what everyone kept saying about Breath of the Wild. I'm like, how are you seeing Breath of the Wild in this game? And now I do kind of get it. It's a darker, more realistic, sadistic version of Breath of the Wild. And it has dungeons, which Breath of the Wild should have had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of the dungeons, so again, open world. The open world is fantastic. It's alive.
Yeah.
You know, you move around. We finally have a mounted option.
Yeah. Torrent.
Yeah, we have Torrent. We have a horsey.
Which is kind of appropriate. Torrent. Do you think that was kind of a dig at the Pirates Online?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But you know, I love it, and you know, hopping on Torrent, riding around this beautiful world.
Yes,
it is just amazing, and it reminds me of Skyrim in a way where you can stumble across like just these weird. You mentioned like you'll be fighting, you'll see maybe like a couple like guys huddled around a fire.
Yeah,
you go up, they'll aggro, you'll fight them and kill them, and then right behind them, you notice there's like a door down into a cave.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you go down this door and you're in this dungeon for a good like 1 to 2 hours.
Right. I haven't gotten that far yet, but
and then you run into like a mini boss, and it's just there are over 80 unique bosses in this game.
And it is cool because you don't have to fight every one of them. You can decide to run and come back when you need to.
In the open world, you can.
In the open world, yeah. There are some bosses,
rooms, you get screwed.
You absolutely have to fight them whether you like it or not. But there have been I mean, so tonight I played before coming here, and I wanted to do some more exploring, right? I just found a swamp in the starting area that I haven't come to yet. And I'm like, oh, look, there's a little cave over there. So I start trotting over on Torrent. Next thing you know, a giant fucking crab claw comes up from the water and almost nips me in the balls. And I'm like, holy shit. And that thing is fast, dude.
Oh, yeah.
When you got a big crab, they're fast. And I beat him on the first try, luckily. But it's just shit like that. Like, I saw a video online. You go and tap an egg with your sword, and next thing you know, Mother Dragon is coming to eat your fucking head off. So it's like you're discovering something every time you go somewhere, you know?
And not much of a spoiler, but I mean, the game, the lore was co-written by George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones fame. And you can tell, like, he put a lot of his input and ideas to building this world, building the lore. And the thing I like about Souls games is like the lore and the plot is not handed to you. You have to talk to people. You have to read items and things that you pick up. Yeah. And then the lore starts interconnecting. And we're seeing like, with the whole, like the Two Fingers, the Land Between, the shattering of the Elden Ring.
The
shocker.
So that's actually a complaint from me about Souls games is I do like the story being in a fashion that you can't miss it. And it feels like in Souls games, I don't know about this one yet, but if you don't do enough exploring or find the right pieces, that you can miss some of the story.
Yeah, and to me, like that's what entices you to actually talk to people more, read into it more.
Yep.
Like, dude, I can't tell you how many hours I've spent online just like with Dark Souls, like lore.
Yeah.
Just like reading the books and like reading all these different things. And it's like, oh shit. Like,
right. Yeah.
And I'm sure like Elden Ring, like this game is massive.
Well, the thing that keeps Souls games alive is the lore and the shit that keeps getting found and the things that keep coming out about it.
The community.
The community, because there's a ledge that you can only find by jumping to your death in level 31 of the Weeping Hollows or some shit like that, right? And yeah, it takes a while for everybody to find all the nooks and crannies of these games, and I'm hoping this game is the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be in the community. The thing I love about Souls games, it is like even though it's a single player game, it is not a single player game because there is a massive PvP community. There's a gigantic co-op community where you can jump in. You can have people help you with bosses, come into your game. You can have people invade you, come in and kill you.
Free tip here for newcomers like me, right? Or beginners, amateurs, because I'm not a newcomer, but don't go online on Reddit or a forum and complain about the game, because the toxic community of the Souls games is going to be like, get good.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Good.
2 words. Yeah. Get good.
Get good. That's all they got to say. And while I agree, also just help a motherfucker out.
Nope. That's been going on since Souls
get good.
Number 1.
Oh, dude, because
you got to get good, son.
I'll never comment on anything. I'll read forums, but I'm not commenting. Yeah.
But no, I mean, the people are very passionate about these games, and
they are.
This game is the same. And we talked about the open world a bit, some of the things you can find. It's beautiful, it's vibrant. A lot of past Souls games were kind of very dark and bland,
now that
very like gothic.
Yeah.
I know your experiences with Bloodborne. This is much more just the palette is much more multidimensional.
Yeah.
It's vibrant, and I'm a fan. Like even my wife, who she never in her life, like I've played Dark Souls, all of them a bazillion times. I've been playing Dark Souls Remastered leading up to this game coming out. She has no interest in them.
Yeah,
and then I fired up Elden Ring. She saw the character creator,
Yes.
which we didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I didn't mention it was a Souls game. I
No.
it's Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring.
New game.
New game written by George R.R. Martin.
And she's like, "Oh," she's like, because she's a sucker for character creators. I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
make a character. Just sit down." Dude, she made a character for like 3.5 hours. It's so in depth how you can mess with everything. There's people making like crazy, like even like celebrity lookalikes online.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. And don't get me wrong, up until like a year and a half ago, I used to be one of those people. I have broken the habit of spending more than 45 minutes on character creation because I could spend 3-4 hours on it. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I could do that. Nowadays, I don't do it. I don't mess with the brow length or the nose size and the chin depth.
Oh, she went down that
I
road.
don't mess with that shit anymore because I know it's a road that I will never come back from. But I do get pretty deep into it, and this character customization is great. It is. It's really good.
So combat feels great.
It does, yep.
You know, the weapons, everything is extremely varied. I mean, this is going to be... You're going to have people min-maxing everything.
Yeah.
In the coming months, looking into different weapons, looking into different builds.
Actually, back to the graphics real quick because we just breezed over it. I thought it would look better. I don't know about you. I'm playing on Next Gen Series X, and I'm assuming you are too, right? Yeah. I expected it to just... It's not bad by any means. I expected it to be just like mind-blowingly good, where it's just... today's standards, it's really good.
So one thing I will say, and I noticed this, so two of the issues, at least on Xbox Series X at launch, was you couldn't play online.
Right. Which just got fixed for me.
It got patched.
Finally,
yeah, it got patched a day or so ago. People on PC have been having issues with frame rates.
PC seems to be getting the shit end of the stick.
Yeah, which, I mean, From Software, that if you know them, they have a history of putting, I don't want to say shitty ports, but their optimizations, especially on PC, leave something to be desired. They already said they're working on it. They've already patched some things.
Console is their focus for sure.
Yeah.
You can tell. Yeah.
PS5 seems to be the smoothest of them all, which makes sense because
it's awesome. No,
they have the longest standing relationship with the PlayStation product.
Absolutely.
I think right now the PS5, it's hovering close to 60 frames per second.
Yep.
In optimization mode, whereas on the Xbox, even with the frame rate optimized option, not the good looking option, it's hovering between 40 and 45 frames per second, which I have personally noticed.
Yeah.
You can see, like, when you're moving your toggles, it's almost like a quasi like vertical sync issue where it's kind of a bit juddery.
Yeah, because I was in a tunnel last night, just cutting through a tunnel, and I was
talking the game, or
yeah,
or you're literally in a tunnel.
No, I was in a tunnel playing the game. No, I'm just kidding. But while I was trying to pan the camera around, it did one of those good things, and it wasn't a big deal, and it doesn't interfere with my gameplay at all. But you notice it. Yeah.
But I mean, that is, when it comes to complaints for me, that is it.
I mean, I have very few complaints. I will say, horse combat to me. So I have migraines and dizziness issues and shit. It seems to make me really fucking dizzy when I'm on a horse because it seems like I'm just...
I've actually got a quick tip.
Going round and round and round.
You know what can help you with that immensely?
What?
You need to get good.
Get good. I know. I knew it was coming.
You got to get good.
So don't get me wrong. I'm only early in the game, and that's why this is first impressions and not a review. Because maybe horse combat gets better.
It does.
But I prefer on foot right now so far.
Yeah, and it depends. If it's if it's a mounted opponent, or this or that, like, you've got to be on horseback.
Right.
But depending on, like, if it is a mob, I will say, like, I will like to hop off torrent and actually, like, try to, like, weed them out, 1v1 them if I can.
Yeah.
But, like, again, with the combat, like, there's so much variety too, with, like,
the
whole, like, the Ashes of War, optimizing different things. There's a whole crafting system that I have not even really dabbled into
Me
yet.
neither. I bought the crafting kit and everything.
Yeah.
Because I knew I needed to, but haven't really dabbled in it yet.
But I mean, it's similar again to Skyrim or Breath of the Wild, where like there's this whole like you can forage as you're going everywhere and craft, which is relatively new to Souls games.
I just want to know what I need to use the gold shit for. That's it.
The gold shit?
The gold-plated excrement or whatever it's called. Have you picked any of it up yet?
Gold-plated excrement.
I forget what it's called, but it's essentially gold animal shit.
I don't know. I haven't
You
looked
haven't
at it.
seen videos or anything
No.
on it? I'm curious what I can craft out of shit that is gold-plated. It's just curious to me, but it is cool. And that's the other thing is, like, I'm waiting to see how much crafting plays a role in this new Souls game, because that's new, right?
Yeah, it is new. And I'm curious as well how in-depth it can get. And I'm trying to do my best like you. I'm trying not to read spoilers. I'm kind of going in blind.
Yeah.
And I'm just on horseback right now, heading everywhere, trying to find the map fragments.
Yeah.
So it actually shows what's on the map. I'm
'Cause-
actually setting up markers. I'm like, okay, here's a dungeon. There was a boss in there. I can't beat him yet, but I'm going to go back and kick his ass later once I'm a bit more leveled up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love the map. I love the ability to place markers on the map. And I love, dude, the boss battles have been the best I've played in a Souls game so far. Not too many. I don't want to release too many spoilers, but
Yeah.
if you, from the starting area, if you head all the way down south, there's a castle down there. There's a boss that's down bottom, kind of in the ocean near some jellyfish. You run through, and dude, he is brutal.
Yeah. See,
Like,
I hadn't made
I'm
it
glad
south.
to say I did not have to summon anybody to help me beat him.
Nice.
I took him out, and if you're looking for if you're a strength build and you're heading towards 40 strength, there is a crazy great sword that you get from him as a drop. I've got up to 20 strength, so
right.
I can get around that by two-handing it and using it, but it's a big nod to George R.R. Martin in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
So
all
again,
right.
just keep heading south, you'll find the castle.
See, because that's the thing. Like, before. So, first of all, let me point out my other one major complaint. And this is more a preference than it is a bad game design. The fact that you do not know where to go. You have very, very subtle hints in the Lost Grace points
It's on purpose.
pointing you in the right direction. Yes, it's on purpose. It's the way Souls games operate. And I get that.
The
but
way?
This is the way. Yeah, that's the grace. Like, they have a ribbon pointing like this way. You're like, okay, go somewhere in that direction. But honestly, that's just more something that affects me because, like I said, I know Souls games, that's how they play it. That's what it's supposed to be. But to me, it's like, just give me a fucking objection marker. I've never understood the people who are like, let me hunt the whole map for my next objection. It's fun. It's not fun to me.
Did you try getting good?
Not yet.
Okay,
Thank
yeah.
you for that great advice, Sarah. That'll be
So work on that. Work on that. But I kind of disagree with you on that because the way this game has been made, you're organically finding shit to do just by riding around. Like
You're right.
So I realized so the way the game wants you to go,
Yeah.
like the starting area, the direction it goes in, I didn't even go that way.
Yeah.
And I literally just found that out today. I'm
Yeah.
like 25 hours in, and I realized, holy shit, like I went the completely wrong direction, and I was like, wow, I'm like, these enemies are fucking hard.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, it's a Souls game, like, and I'm used to playing, so I'm like, okay, I died a lot, but I'm like, I'm good enough at Souls games. I'm like, okay, I can get around this, and I did for the most part.
Yeah.
So I leveled up. I did all my shit. I got weapons, new armor. I fucking upgraded shit. And then I'm like, I fast traveled, and I will mention too, the fact that fast travel, you can just open the map and go. That is something like you motherfuckers take for granted. Because
Yeah.
and I'm still like, I'll be out in the open, and I'm like, oh, I need to find the site of grace. Like I got to get to the bonfire.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I got to fast travel, and I'm like, oh shit, no, just open the map and go.
Right.
Like, and I like that, From Software, they made this game so much more accessible for new players, while at the same time, like the boss fights, some of the enemies, just all the little things, it's a Souls game at its heart, and it's still hard as shit.
I can say for sure that they found a very good balance, opening it up to new players while also not taking away from what makes the game a Souls game. The difficulty, the world building, and the boss fights.
Boss fights, man.
For sure. I'm never going to claim to be an expert on these games, but from what I know about them, it immediately, right off the bat, feels like a Souls game. But once you step out into that starting area and the world opens up to you, it's like, okay, well, I can figure out what to do from here. And while it's frustrating, I only figured out tonight that I'm kind of on the right track. So without even knowing it, I'm heading in the direction I need to be going. But that's why I went back to the starting area, because I'm like, I don't want to go there yet. There's so much shit back here that I haven't even touched yet. Let me go and find some more shit here, and then I'll go back to beating that giant that stepped on me, fucking asshole.
Dude, that's been my battle.
Yeah.
Because I keep like, what's down here? But then I look over there, and there's more shit that way, and I'm like, I got to make a decision.
But then there's something like a fucking dragonfly that can ruin my night. Literally. Last night ruined my fucking night because I was in a swamp and I'm like, shit, I'm fucking loving it, collecting runes, what? And then this dragonfly is just buzzing around me. And my magic is too slow to hit him. And my sword just can't reach him. So what the fuck am I going to do? I'm going to die. That's what I'm going to fucking do. Die to a dragonfly. Not a dragon, a dragonfly. It's a Souls game wrapped up into a fucking little scene. I'm say get good one more time.
Did you try getting good?
Yeah, I tried it. It didn't fucking work.
What else, my friend? Anything else before we close this out?
No, truthfully, they have sculpted a great fucking game, and the open world, it's tough. For me, I like the linearity of Bloodborne. Like, you had certain paths you could take, there were certain workarounds, but overall you knew where you were going. But the open world also gives you the opportunity to find stuff and discover the game at your own pace. So it's like a bittersweet thing for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've played all of the Soulsborne games, and I have loved them all. Love From Software. They're one of my favorite studios. This game is kind of like my mecca of gaming right now.
Yeah.
I'm just shy of about 30 hours in. I still have a long ways to go. I can already confidently say it's probably going to be my game of the year. Okay. It's potentially going to break in my top 3 favorite games of all time.
Dang.
I'm absolutely loving it. From Software, Miyazaki, amazing job. My early review on this, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I love it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, to add on to that, I think that in order to give this game a 10 out of 10, you really have to be a From Software fan from the get-go. I think that's a fair statement, because with me not being a huge From Software fan, I'm very much enjoying the game. And I'm more committed to finishing this game than any other From Software game I have played so far. So there's something to say about that, for sure. But it's one of those games, like, if you're not into dying and learning and retrying everything all the time, you're not going to like it. So I do think the marketing campaign was good and tricked people into really buying it first. But I do also think that they haven't made it so accessible that anybody can play the game. So, and a game of the year type game, to me, needs to be difficult but also accessible to a ton of gamers. and I don't think they're there yet. But
I disagree.
But
I disagree
also,
wholeheartedly. I think they nailed it with this.
and again, I'm still in the first stages of the game, so it's like I can't really say because let's be honest, From Software games get really fucking weird towards the end too, like really weird.
No.
If they can keep the weirdness down to like an 80%, I'm fully on board with this game, dude. Fully on board. But if I end up at the end of the game and I'm meeting like a half man, half woman, half turtle that has 3 dicks and 7 arms and is carrying
Dude, that's the boss down south.
A fucking,
how did you know?
A 10-inch skillet for a weapon, then I might be like, all right, this is getting weird. But
Yeah,
no.
you have no idea then.
It's
like
on
you're gonna run into some weird shit.
I imagine that. But since George R.R. Martin is writing it, I have faith that they'll keep it, better. For lack of better words, I guess. But with that being said, I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10.
Review pending.
Review pending, I'd give it a 9 right now. I was going to go 9.5, but just based on what I've seen, just being fair, I see a 9 right now with the potential to go upwards. I don't see it going backwards.
Why don't we check back in like a month or two? I'd like to talk about this again. After
I might
we,
be halfway
really
through the game by then, so yeah, that'll be good.
I'd like to get Wayne on too.
Yeah.
We haven't had Wayne on in a while. The Wayne train.
If I'm being honest, at this point, if I compared Bloodborne and Elden Ring, I think I was a little more on board with Bloodborne at this point.
And that would make sense because you're a horror kind of guy anyway, and that is full on gothic Victorian horror.
It is, yeah.
Which Elden Ring is more it's bringing everything in.
Yeah.
But I will say, dude, there are horror aspects. You haven't hit them yet.
And that's why I'm saying like a 9 with the potential to only go up. Because I've heard things without spoiling anything and without spoiling it for myself, I've heard things that I imagine are going to be great.
But did you try finger butthole?
Dude, I saw that message today. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like,
I love the Souls community, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, Rando,
Try jumping. Yeah. Fuck you.
Off the cliff.
Yeah.
It's so good. Randos, well, thank you again for tuning in. Again, we're Fandom at Random. You can find us at fandomatrandom.com. All the ways to follow, like, listen. We'd appreciate subscribe on YouTube. We're going to have a lot more content, a lot more. We're going to finishing up the studio more, fun stuff. We're going to be dying a lot lot more in Elden Ring, so you'll hear about that.
I might stream it. We might stream it. Who knows? Keep tuning in.
Try finger, butthole. And remember, Randos, and especially you, Brian, get good.
Fuck you.
Later.